Hey, Happy New Year, and welcome back to my Best Games of the Decade list. Just to recap, I'm going to go through what I think the contenders for Best Game of the Decade so far are. So in 2010, there was Mass Effect 2, Dead Rising 2. In 2011, there was Arkham City. In 2012, Best Game of the Decade got a honorable mention with Lollipop Chainsaw. 2013 has Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance as a contender for Best of the Decade. 2014 has, I think, the strongest contender for Game of the Decade with Bayonetta 2. And now in this video we're going to move on to 2015, going through the list of games that I played that I enjoyed the most. So starting off the year, this one doesn't technically count, Dragon Ball Xenoverse, because I never actually laid my hands on a controller and played this game, but Christopher, my friend, let's played this game on this channel, so I had to sit there and watch all of that, so I feel like I got the experience. It's a fine game. I don't really have anything else to say, as I did not play it. Resident Evil Revelations 2, I really enjoy. I didn't love it at first. It's grown on me, and I think the raid mode in that game I might have sunk more time into than possibly any other game this decade. Mario Party 10, the 10th one. This is the one where you could play as Bowser. It's fun. You were still in that stupid little car, so it's not a return to form, but I did enjoy this one a lot. Bloodborne. Very good game. Very difficult. I never played any of the Dark Souls games because I'm not a big fantasy guy. I don't like fantasy settings unless it's in a very specific, like if it's done in a very specific way. So I loved the Lovecraftian kind of like Victorian era of this game. That's what drew me in. And again, I love the aesthetic of horror, so that's what really did it for me. Now, talking about fantasy, not liking it unless it's done good. Witcher 3 came out that year. Very good game. I mean, there's just certain games I feel like I don't need to say anything about. Witcher 3 is one of those. Lego Jurassic World, I was very excited for. Hank and I played that for a little bit and then never touched it again. Batman Arkham Knight, which I think is the best Batman game. It's the game that feels the most like you are Batman, is that game. I know a lot of people don't like the Batmobile. I don't care. I think it's fun. I enjoy that game, but it's not for everybody, I guess. Godzilla, I think, actually came out in 2014, so I don't know why it's on the 2015 list. Maybe it came out over here in 2015. I don't know. It's a fun game, but only if you're a Godzilla fan. Like, this will not appeal to anybody else. One Piece Pirate Warriors 3 has a worse story presentation than the first one, but the gameplay is way better. Until Dawn, I think in that type of game, like in the type of like Heavy Rain type of game, like what David Cage has been trying to do, I think that studio does it better. Until Dawn is a game that is very boring for the first 80% of it, because it's a slasher movie, and then when the twist happens, then that's when it got me, but it was like at the very end. So I don't know if their Man of Medan game is like just weird the whole time. I think I would like it better. Disney Infinity 3. A friend of mine got me the Obi-Wan Disney Infinity figure because I love Obi-Wan, and he also got me Darth Maul, so I was like, well, god damn it, now I have to collect all of them. So I did get all of them, and I eventually bought the game to go along with it, because I'm like, I have all these, I might as well just play the game. It's fine. I mean, I don't really... Now here's another one that is a superbly strong candidate for Game of the Decade. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. I don't think any game this decade resonated with me more than this one. I got sucked into this game something fierce. I love Venom Snake. He's probably my favorite protagonist of the decade. I connected with that game something fierce. It has a ton of flaws, but it is a game that I love dearly. Super Mario Maker, incredibly fun game. I never used it to make levels because I'm not creative and I have a baby brain when it comes to that. But playing other people's creations is very fun. I love the 100 Mario challenge and stuff. Transformers Devastation. My baby brain is acting up now. Transformers Devastation is, I think, directed by the same guy who did Bayonetta 2, I think. It's either Bayonetta 2 or Metal Gear Rising directed that game. It's fine. I don't like Transformers, so I probably would have gotten more out of it if I did. Yoshi's Woolly World, I have literally nothing to say about that. I know I played it, but I don't remember it, so that's just the only reason it's on that list. Rise of the Tomb Raider, better than the 2013 reboot, which I also really love. I haven't played the new one yet, though. I bought it for Black Friday because it was cheap. It was like the new definitive edition. I bought that for cheap on Black Friday. Still haven't played it, though. And Star Wars Battlefront, which at the time was like, yeah, this is fine. I got it for $20, so that was why I was like, yeah, okay, this is cool. I don't know why people are complaining about it so much. Looking at it now, it's like, yeah, that had no content. That game had nothing in it. So that's the end of 2015, and yeah, Phantom Pain, best game of that year, definitely. 2016, hell year, the year that everyone wants to forget. Yakuza Kiwami, that came out in Japan that year, so I'm putting it on the list. I think it actually came out the next year. Great game. I mean, I played the original one a couple years before 2016. I don't think I've ever told this story. I bought the original one because I was like, everyone was telling me you'd love the Yakuza series, you would love the Yakuza series, play the series. So it was before Zero came out, and I played the first one on PS2. Something was wrong with the disc, so all the cutscenes would skip. So I would have to press the pause button and just skip the cutscenes altogether. So I was playing the game, just the gameplay, and not following the story. And about halfway through, I was like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? So I stopped the series until Yakuza 0 came out, but I'll talk about that later. Street Fighter V, I know some people don't like it. It's the first Street Fighter game that I actually really picked up and played. I think it's fun. So Dead or Alive Extreme 3 is next. I bought that because I at that point in time was at the mindset of oh my god, they're trying to ban video games. I can't let this happen. It was right when Gamergate was. You know what? I don't even want to talk about Gamergate because no matter what I say, someone's not gonna be happy. But the whole thing was dumb, and I hate it, and I don't want to talk about it. Dead or Alive Extreme 3 shouldn't have been banned over here because it is a completely inoffensive game. It is dumb. It's a fun little minigame collection that I wouldn't have bought if it didn't have that hype around it of being banned. Hitman, great game. Don't really need to say much about that. Probably the perfect Hitman game until the sequel came out. Star Fox Zero, another game I forgot came out even. Bad game. Don't know how they made it so weird. It would have been fine if it didn't use the gamepad the whole time. Very strange decisions made in that game. Uncharted 4. Hated that game. Did not enjoy that. That was when my turn from, I really like Naughty Dog, into, you know what, man, Naughty Dog, fuck them. That was when that change happened in me, because I was playing it, and I think I was 10 hours into the game, and I'd played maybe 2 hours of that. And it's just I don't want to watch this movie because it's boring, and I don't care about these characters. I just want to play the game. I want to adventure in this game and have fun. But they were like, no, you have to Nathan Drake, he plays Crash Bandicoot. That's fun. I'm like, no, it's not. Please let me play the game. So I did not like that. I didn't finish that because I hated it so much. And I haven't played a Naughty Dog game since. Have they even made any? I don't know. Doom, 2016. Pretty fun. Not really much else to say. Overwatch. Yep, that. Ninja Turtles: Mutants in Manhattan. Another Platinum game that some people don't like. I think it's kind of fun, although I never played it multiplayer. I feel like multiplayer is probably how you're supposed to play that. One Piece: Burning Blood, a fun little fighting game for One Piece. The story is fine because it goes through a period of the show where there's a lot of fighting, so it makes sense, and the multiplayer is really good. Resident Evil Umbrella Corps, or Core. Not good. Probably the worst Resident Evil game. Lego Force Awakens, it's fine. This one I didn't know if I should include or not, but it was another one of those where I think people are going to think of this game when they think of this decade. Pokemon Go. That's right, we're going to Pokemon Go to the polls. It was just such a big moment. It was fun. That initial, month where Pokemon Go started was just a huge thing. That was so much fun. I feel like that was the last time that our country was united. That was, the last time I was like, yeah, I love everybody here. So Batman Telltale was next. Telltale games are, I think, very hit or miss. The Batman one was fun. I really enjoyed that one. Deus Ex Mankind Divided. I feel Mankind was, in fact, divided on that game. Because it was way shorter than I think anybody was expecting it to be. But it was still more of the same good Deus Ex-ness that was in Human Revolution. So I like it. I hope they make a new one. I don't know if they will, though. Attack on Titan was a fun game that I wish I had just waited a couple months to buy because I imported it from Japan, thinking they were going to take a year to release it. But, yeah. Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice is kind of just more of the same. It's a good game, but it didn't wow me as much as Dual Destinies did. Gears 4, which is fine. It was just kind of there to bring the series back. I didn't love it, though. Arkham VR is just kind of a fun little game. It's not worth buying VR for, definitely. I still don't think there's really anything worth it, other than... What year is this? 2016? Yeah, there's a game next year that is worth it. Berserk and the Band of the Hawk is probably my favorite of those Musou games that year, or that decade. Really tight, and Berserk works really well for that type of game. Pokemon Sun and Moon. Oh no, I just saw what the next game is. Oh, Jesus. Sun and Moon, I played for 2 hours and never really, did not appeal to me. Again, a Pokemon game needs to really grip me. It needs to do something, really different to grip me. Oh, Jesus Christ. Fuck, I don't even want to talk about this game. Dead Rising 4 is the shittiest game I've ever played. It is not just the worst game of the decade, it is the worst game I've ever played, just period. It is an affront to that series. It took everything that I love about that series, took it out back, and shot it in the face. Capcom Vancouver has since closed down. I think every single the guy who directed this game... I feel the way about this game that some people do about Star Wars The Last Jedi. This is the worst fucking thing, and every time I think about it, my blood pressure raises, and I just start to get mad. This is... Oh, God. Let It Die, which is a Suda? Yeah, Suda51 game. It was his attempt at, kind of a Dark Souls, Bloodborne type game, but it was... I think it was always online you had to be. Always online you have to be. I don't know why I said it like that. Although it did have one of my favorite characters of the decade, Uncle Death. Was that his name? Yeah, he was great. I love him. I hope he's in the next No More Heroes, because that'd be cool. Final Fantasy 15 was fun. That's another one that I feel like the community's kind of divided on. I enjoy that game. I think it's a lot of fun. I like what they did with the gameplay, how they made it kind of like Kingdom Hearts. So, yeah. This is... Okay, you know what? 2016 does have a good VR game. Summer Lesson. I played that what was that, like 1 or 2 summers ago. I enjoyed that quite a bit. I think that's still my favorite VR game. Yeah, I think that's my favorite VR game. Let's see, what was my favorite game of that year? Shit, I don't even know. This was just kind of a. There were some games that came out that year. Jesus Christ, I was gonna say Dead Rising 4 is a joke, but I didn't play it that year. But I guess I'll say Yakuza Kiwami was the best game of that year that I played. So that was 16. Let's go to 17. 2017 was a stacked fucking year. This is crazy. When I was going through looking at what games came out this year, like, holy shit. Just, there's not a lot. I think this is one of the least, like, one of the smaller years, one of the smaller lists that I have. But starting off, the first game on here, Resident Evil 7. Unbelievably good. It was what most people, I think, were kind of, it washed the bad taste of 5, 6, and I guess some of the other doddering games like Umbrella Corps and Operation Raccoon City. I like 5 and 6, but for a lot of people, this was like the return to form. It's a very good game. I still think 5 and 6 are better than this, but you can't deny how good this game is. Now, the next game, I might even just say it here. I might even say this is the best game of the decade. Like, the other ones were strong contenders. This one, if you put a gun to my head and said, what was your favorite game that you played this decade, I think this is the one that I would blurt out immediately. Yakuza 0. What a fucking experience this game was. I love this game more than I think any other game this decade. Like, this is so good. This game is so good. Like, I really, there's nothing else I can say about it. This has one of the best storylines in any game. It has 2 characters that play completely differently, and they each have... Majima and Kiryu both have 4 different ways that they play. So there's like 8 different ways to play this game, like just in the gameplay and the fighting. It has the best side content of any game I've ever played. Specifically Majima's Cabaret Club. That is my favorite side content of any game. I love it. It's so good. This game, I could spend the next hour talking about this game. Next up, Breath of the Wild. Like, 3 games in. Resident Evil 7, Yakuza 0, Breath of the Wild. Those could be the best games of the decade right there. Breath of the fucking Wild. A perfect game. What I would consider to be a perfect game. And one of those things that you would say, what is video games? I would point to Breath of the Wild and say, that's a fucking video game right there, man. Not really much else to say about that. Nier Automata. I didn't play enough of this game to really make a judgment. But I know a lot of people love it. It's a very widely appreciated game. I really do need to get back in there and play that. Now, here's one that I didn't play enough of, but I can still make a judgment on. Mass Effect Andromeda. Oh, man. I played the first 2 hours of that game because the price of that dropped down to, I think I bought it for like $7, like a couple months after it came out, and it still wasn't worth that. Boring video game. And yeah, weird technical stuff. They put like a C team on this, while the A and B teams were working on Anthem. So, just weird. Injustice 2 is a good game. Way better than the first. I talked about in the last video how Injustice 1 has just an awful art style. This fixed that immediately. And even when it was first shown off, it had a different art style. That was still even better than the original one. Sonic Mania. Like, dude, Resident Evil 7, Yakuza 0, Breath of the Wild, Sonic Mania. It's another strong contender. Great game. Another return to form. We got Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which is a mess of a game. I liked the story mode because I liked seeing the characters that I like Chris Redfield, Frank West, Dante. I like seeing those characters interact, and that was probably the strongest part of that game. I never touched it after I beat the story mode. Dude, Super Mario Odyssey. Come on. Resident Evil 7, Yakuza 0, Breath of the Wild, Sonic Mania, Mario Odyssey. Are you cartooning me? What a lineup! And we're still not done. Mario Odyssey is the best. It's the best. It's such a good game. There's nothing to say about it. Sonic Forces. I have warmed to it slightly more, but it's still a gigantic missed opportunity. And if I felt like editing, I would edit that clip of me saying, you know, I'm actually more excited for Sonic Forces than I am for Mario Odyssey from when I was playing Unleashed, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to make myself look an idiot. Star Wars Battlefront 2 at launch. Obviously, people didn't like it. I think if you were to play the game now, I've been singing this game's praises since it came out. I think it didn't deserve any of the hate. I mean, it deserved the hate that it got, but it was still a good game. And it is even better now. Like, I really do enjoy Battlefront 2 a lot. So if you, for some reason, passed on this game because of the bad stuff going on with EA, I would recommend picking this game up, because it really did. It did a complete 180. It's a great game now. Yakuza Kiwami 2, which is better than the first game in terms of gameplay, but the story is less good. But that's not that game's fault. That's the original Yakuza 2's fault. But yeah, it's better than the first one, for sure. City Shrouded in Shadow. This was a game I played in 2019 that I really enjoyed. I really loved this game. It's really goofy. I would have liked it if they had ported it over here and localized it, because I had to play through it in Japanese and sometimes couldn't understand what I was supposed to do. And I think I would have enjoyed it more. It's a janky game, but I quite enjoy it. And that's 2017. Very difficult to pick a best game of that year, but just by virtue of it being there, Yakuza 0 is the best game of that year. Okay, 2018 is another one that's really easy to pick what my favorite of that year was. And it's the first game. Monster Hunter World! Very good game. I sunk a lot of time into that game last year, or 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago, it's fucked up. I don't really have anything else to say. I really enjoyed that one. Metal Gear Survive was another one that I picked up for like $10 after it came out. What I Let's Played of that is all that I've played of it. It's fine. It would have been better if Metal Gear was not attached to it at all. But then again, I also wouldn't have played it. So there you go. Attack on Titan 2. I still haven't beaten that. I still plan on finishing that Let's Play. It's going to happen eventually. But yeah, better than the first one for sure. A Way Out. Probably the best co-op experience I've ever had. Playing... I don't even know if you can play that on your own. But yeah, great co-op experience. If you're looking for a good co-op experience for you and a buddy just sharing a couch together, A Way Out, for sure, 100%. Spider-Man is a game that I played 100% of. I Let's Played it. I never want to play it again. It's a good game, but man, I don't even want to think about playing that game again. I feel like that's all I did that entire year was play that game. I honest to God, don't even want to talk about that game. Super Mario Party, that was a real return to form. I really enjoyed that game. That came out like right at the end. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. Hitman 2. Better than the first one. It's just still more Hitman. Not really much else to say. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I picked up Pikachu. That was the first one, I think, since Black that really gripped me, but I still never finished it. Because it's just like, man, I feel like I've played this game 1,000 times. Because I have, because it's, you know, Pokemon Red and Blue again. Smash Ultimate. Great game. I think if we were going to go for best gaming moment of the decade, or gaming reveal, I think that initial reveal trailer is the best moment of the decade. Just when they're like, we're going to show some characters that are going to be in this game. And when it gets to Snake, not only are you like, holy crap, Snake is back. And then it shows everyone is here. That gets me every time. Like, I get excited every time I see that trailer, and the game has been out for like a year. It hands down best reveal trailer of the decade. And then this came out this year in Japan. It's another one of those. Judgment. I was very excited for that one. Again, what I Let's Play to that is what I've played of it. I'm going to eventually finish playing that game after I beat the Yakuza series. So I just felt like I was, what do you call it? Cheating on Yakuza by playing that, so I stopped. And here we go. We got the final year, which, again, looking at this had, what a solid year. So the first game, again, this 2019, I don't know if it's just me, was the longest year in human history. I don't think another year has ever been this long. Like, when I was thinking about this next game, I was like, oh yeah, that came out in, like, 2017. I was like, no, that came out this year, or last year, I guess. And that would be Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes. I was convinced. I was like, yeah, that came out in, like, 2018. But then I was like, no, I was playing Spider-Man when I got it in the mail. So that had to have been 2019. Next one. Again, strong contender for Game of the Decade. Resident Evil 2. And I'm going to just say it right here. This and the next game are the best game of the year. I mean, Resident Evil 2, I don't think... I think I played this game more than any other game this decade. I have replayed this more in the, like, less than year that it's been out than almost any other game, bar maybe Dead Rising 2. Like I said, that and this next game, probably the best of the year, tied. Devil May Cry 5. This is a game that I never thought we were going to ever see, and just the fact that it took almost 10 years for this game to come out, and then it was as good as it was, is insane. I mean, they knocked it out of the park with that one. Next is Yoshi's Crafted World, which is probably the best Yoshi game since Yoshi's Island, because a lot of those just were missing, like, the magic and the charm of that one. But this one did it in its own way. Team Sonic Racing is fine. I don't really, honestly, I don't know how I feel about it. It's weird. It's a weird game. Because it has great tracks, it's got a great character roster, but also the team aspect I just don't really love. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is very good. I'm not big into those Metroidvania games. I like them. I mean, I like Metroid Fusion, Zero Mission. I love Symphony of the Night. I even like the 3D ones, like Metroid Prime. I would consider Tomb Raider 2013 to be a Metroidvania game. And Bloodstained really gripped me. I really loved Bloodstained. Mario Maker 2, I would say, is just more of the same. It added a lot of great stuff, including multiplayer, so it's way better than the first, but it's still kind of just more of the same. Fire Emblem Three Houses. I didn't play enough of this one. I really did. I really loved what I played. And this, I don't know how I missed this, but I also played Awakening. That should have been in the list for whatever year that came out. So I don't know how I messed that up. Astral Chain, another really great action game that came out this decade from Platinum. You'll notice, I think, all of them that I listed, except for Travis Strikes Again and No More Heroes 2, were from Platinum. Astral Chain's very good. Great soundtrack. Oh my god. Gears 5. Hank and I are about halfway done with that now. You know, I uploaded those videos. We're trying to figure out how to, you know, when we want to meet up to record the rest of that. But I really liked what I saw so far. It changed the formula quite a bit, and I liked that. Luigi's Mansion 3, probably the perfect Luigi's Mansion game. It combined the best elements of both of the other games into a great package. Here's another one of these kind of slipped between the cracks from one of the other lists. Mario and Sonic at the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games. I just got that one for Christmas, so I can't really say much about it. Although I did play it, Hank and our friend Bert, we played it together on New Year's Eve, and we had quite a bit of fun. But yeah, the 2014 Winter Games one that was on the Wii U, I played that one, and really, really enjoyed that one. That was another really good party game. I guess that must have been 2013 that came out. That should have been on that list. I don't know why it wasn't. Death Stranding. If we had a an award for best or most unique game of the decade, I would give it to Death Stranding. I really like what I've seen. I haven't finished it yet, but it's a really unique game. I think the longer you play it, the more it clicks, and the more you're like, oh, okay, that's what this game is. That's what I'm doing here. Yeah, it's a good game. Got a great soundtrack. Pokemon Sword and Shield. I picked up Shield not too long ago, so again, I don't really have a full opinion on it yet. But I feel like this might be the first one since Black that I actually complete. Like, this feels good. This feels strong to me. And I avoided all the controversy about, like, oh, man, but the Pokemon Company, they lied to us. They're Game Freak, man. They're reusing all kinds of stuff. They cut out the national Dex, dude. Come on. And it's just none of that. I don't care about any of that. I just want to play the game that is in front of me and enjoy it. And I have, so far, very much so enjoyed it. Jedi Fallen Order. Again, what I have Let's Play to that is what I've seen. I've really enjoyed it so far. I'm very excited to continue playing it. It has some weird technical issues, but it is enjoyable. And speaking of weird technical issues, is the last game on the list, Control. Hank gave me this for Christmas because I think he knew I would never play it, or I would never buy it otherwise. So yeah, he gave me Control. It's a fun game so far. I like the aesthetic of it, and it's got some weird issues, man. Just like Fallen Order. I literally just started playing it last night, so I cannot have much of an opinion on it. So that's the lists all done. Once again, let me go through the best games each year. So, Mass Effect 2. So the best games, the contenders we have now are Mass Effect 2, Arkham City, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, Dead Rising 2, Bayonetta 2, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, Yakuza 0. I didn't mention it, but I feel like Super Mario Odyssey deserves to be a contender too. And Resident Evil 2. Oh, and a special shout-out, an honorable mention goes to Lollipop Chainsaw. Now, when I really think about this, when I really think about it, it's pretty difficult. But the two that I would have to really narrow it down to, man, it's gotta be Bayonetta 2 and Yakuza 0. But I hate doing that to Resident Evil 2 and Dead Rising 2. Shit. Man, it's really difficult. Because those are all, I think those 4 games are the games that I played the most and that I enjoyed the most in the decade. And I guess when I say Dead Rising 2, you could also include Off the Record. If I had to rank them, though, that's what, 4 games? Number 4 would be Resident Evil 2. Then Dead Rising 2. Man, there's a lot of 2s in here. 2 always gets it right, man. Oh, man. These last 2 are hard. Number 1's Yakuza 0. It's Yakuza 0. It has to be. That game affected me more than any other game. I think that was also one of the first games that I had like a real, like, emotional response to it, like when it ended. It has to be, yeah, it has to be Yakuza 0. So I'll say, okay, the 5 best games of the decade. I know one of these just snuck in, but I was thinking about it. Number 5 is Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Number 4 is Resident Evil 2 Remake. Number 3 is Dead Rising 2. Number 2 is Bayonetta 2. And number 1 is Yakuza 0. That is my list of the best games of the decade. In order. That's my opinion. But my opinion also happens to be right. So that's actually facts. I'm really curious to see what you thought of this list. If you even made it this far. because on my recording right now, it's about an hour and 20 minutes in. So this is going to be a two-parter. This is going to be long. I am very curious to see what your picks for best of the decade are, or were, and what your eventual number one pick was. So thank you for listening, and I hope that we have another good decade and that we don't go to war with Iran, or that we all don't burn alive due to global warming. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon.